More about this now and how Florida is handling that spike in cases. We bring in Jeanette Nunez, who's Florida's Lieutenant Governor. Lieutenant Governor, it's good to have you back on the show. We just heard from Governor DeSantis and Phil's reporting, so I want to start there. As he says, you're not shutting down, even with the increase in cases we've seen here recently. What would have to happen for the state to consider rolling back some of the economic reopening measures that are in place?
Well, thanks again, Connell, for the opportunity. And I think you heard Governor DeSantis loud and clear. He is not considering rolling back. We have seen increases in cases, but as you mentioned, a lot of that is attributed to record number of testing. The last two Saturdays, 50,000, 57,000 test results. Clearly, the more you look, the more you'll find. But in addition, we've also recognized that there's an outbreak in some of the agricultural areas. In one county of 100 farm workers, 90 tested positive. So there's a lot of different things that we're doing from a strategy standpoint to make sure we keep Floridians safe. But the most important thing is to protect our most vulnerable, which is the elderly. And that is something that's evidenced by the decline in fatalities in nursing homes. And the median age has dropped considerably from the beginning of the outbreak, which was in the 60s, down to the mid-30s. And that's something that's positive because those people are not suffering the symptoms. They're not in the hospitals and the ICUs or on vents.
Now, there is more to this, wouldn't you acknowledge, than just an increase in testing? We've talked to experts on the show the last couple of days, and they say it's more than that. And the numbers seem to back them up. The positivity rate, in other words, the percentage of people who test positive, that's been going up. It was just at 10.3%, I believe, either yesterday or today. It's been hovering around 7%. The experts say 5% is the safe zone. And just to drive home the point, I was looking at some of the data from Palm Beach County on that. Before the reopening, that rate of positivity was at 4.9%. Now it's jumped all the way up to 8.9%. So that's pretty high. So it's more than just testing, isn't it?
Indeed, it's more than just testing, which is why I mentioned the agricultural problem that we've been facing and we've been dealing with. Palm Beach has a large agricultural area in the Belle Glades area. That's something, again, that we're monitoring very closely, the rate of positivity, but also the important metrics that we keep an eye on, not only the fatalities, but also from the standpoint of ICU capacity and ventilator capacity. The purpose of flattening the curve was to make sure our hospital system wasn't overwhelmed. And also important to note that Palm Beach is one of 3 counties in the state of Florida that is not in phase 2. They are still in the limited phase 1. Okay,
so, and that is another interesting point because Francis Suarez, who you heard from a moment ago, was on this show yesterday, the mayor of Miami, and he is looking at pausing in the move in between the phases. In other words, not going from phase 2 to phase 3. So are you relying more on local leaders, on mayors to make those types of decisions, and are reluctant, is the administration reluctant to make it on a statewide basis?
From the very beginning, Governor DeSantis was willing to work with our local mayors, especially those in that tri-county area, Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach, where we saw initially 60% of the cases of COVID-19. And so we worked with those county mayors. We made sure that we were able to give special consideration for those counties that saw the outbreak. So whereas City of Miami, within Miami-Dade County, I've talked to the mayor of the county, not necessarily the city mayor, but the county mayor, and he is confident that they're not going to roll back, but they're going to continue to focus on enforcement. They're going to continue to focus on really making sure that people are complying. Dade County has a face mask ordinance, and so his perspective is that he wants to make sure people are complying and doing everything they can to take on their personal responsibility in the battle against COVID-19.
All right, Florida is one of the states we're watching closely. Texas would be another, and there are a few more. But Lieutenant Governor Nunez, thank you for coming on again. We appreciate your perspective, and we'll continue to cover it. Melissa.